Today we're looking at 5 depreciated V6 cars that you can buy for under 10k. Let's get straight into it. I honestly think for the right price, I would buy a Mark IV VW Golf R32, and I might even go as far as saying it's my personal favourite looking VW Golf available. That's particularly strong words when you consider that the rest of the Mark IV generation Golf is, again in my opinion, highly underwhelming, with the worst GTI of the bunch. And it clearly isn't just me who feels this way, as the R32 has been steadily increasing in price over the past few years, with the cheapest examples now starting around £8,500, with our 10k limit getting you a high mileage 2003 example. From standard, the car came with the first dual clutch gearbox on a production car, the now well-known DSG, as well as sporty but clean stylings on the exterior, OZ Aristo alloys, and the stunning deep blue pearl colour that can sometimes be found on following our cars. It also got a great looking but not over the top interior with stuff like the Koenig sport seats, and it also came with a Haldex all-wheel drive system that was also a bit of a precursor to future VW R products. Many of these parts were shared with the Audi TT, and the car was originally released in Europe exclusively before being shipped to the US and Australia due to its mass popularity. All of that has helped this car to become a pretty certain future classic, and my recommendation personally would be to go for a 3-door blue manual model, as though the blue was the most common colour, it's probably also the colour that turns the most heads. They didn't actually get a V6, so they got a 3.2 litre VR6 that makes 237 brake horsepower, taking the car to 60 in 6.4 seconds, which is known for its raspy sound. Most problems you'll find on forums are typical for VWs, like failing coil packs, window motors giving up, and the likes. Rust is also known particularly around the rear, and timing chain guides are probably the key thing to watch for in case of wear. Next up we have a car that I am clearly not super biased towards, the Alfa Romeo 156 GTA in either saloon or sport wagon spec. And of course I say that because I literally bought one last year, and it's been one of the best car related decisions I've made. I honestly never appreciated just how special the Busso engine is, but when you get the chance to experience one, it's magnificent. The sound is obviously glorious, but on top of that, the thing that I don't hear people mention enough is that the strength of that engine is unbelievable. It pulls like an absolute train despite being over 20 years old. These features are why people love these Bussos, and for reference, it's a 3.2 litre V6 engine that makes 250 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 6.1 seconds, though it definitely feels quicker. It's also an incredibly rare car, with around 350 total GTAs sold to the UK, 112 of them being sport wagons, while today just 137 of them are registered out on the roads, almost 100 less than 10 years ago, despite a bunch being imported from other markets. The car was designed by the same man that designed the Mark I Audi R8, Walter de Silva, who was also responsible for the 147 GTA, the hot hatch equivalent of the 156, and I personally love the design. It looks so aggressive that people often ask me if I put a body kit on the car. Also, as they were the range topper for the 156, they came incredibly well equipped for such an old car. I'm talking heated seats, steering wheel, radio controls, aircon, and all the rest. Yes, the radio functionality is a bit old school, but if your main problem is replacing a radio, you are laughing. £8,000 around the minimum you'll find these listed for, and 10k is enough for a high mileage 2003 model. Rust is the main issue on these, and electrical issues are also known. Many parts can also be difficult to source, so it won't be long before I'm treating mine like a classic car. The Nissan 350Z offers some seriously good value for money as a cheap access point into JDM ownership, with a V6 engine and some decent performance. However, it is looking a touch older, which is where the 370Z comes in. Both cars offer a nice blank canvas for some modification, but as the new Nissan Z car hasn't been made available to the European market, the 370Z is the newest car of the iconic Z lineage that we can actually buy, which somehow makes it feel that little bit more modern in my head, despite being not far off 20 years old. It comes with a 3.7 litre V6 engine, making 326 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 5.1 seconds, a fair upgrade of the 350Z. I'm doing lots of comparison here, but in reality the 370Z was a very different car to the 350Z, completely re-engineered, despite aesthetic similarities. Nissan wanted to get the car handling better and a bit more agile, so it's wider and shorter to get it squatting down to the road nicely, matched with a whole new suspension setup. It also introduced a bunch of lightweight materials to stop the car from becoming bloated, and Nissan increased the rigidity as well. With all that in mind, these make for great track day cars, plenty of power and great handling. For someone that wants a car that will take on the straights a little better than the MX-5, though they likely won't handle the corners quite as well. I personally think their looks help them become a bit of a head turn out on the roads too, especially in the right spec, and I don't think they need much more than a nice set of alloys to give that JDM tuner vibe. They start at around 6 grand, while 10k will get a 2012 example with 90,000 miles on it. Some owners do complain about build quality, but it is a Nissan, not a Rolls Royce, and there are some known issues too, particularly around the clutch and steering lock. I mentioned the car's a decent track car too, but fuel starvation can take place from the fuel sloshing around inside the tank when cornering aggressively.
We're not far off of 150,000 subscribers, so if you're new here and want to subscribe, please do so. I make 2 videos every single week. And let me know in the comments down below, what is your personal favourite ever V6?
Next up we have the Maserati Ghibli S, one of the best value for money super saloons you can get into, given they come with a 3-litre twin turbocharged V6 engine, making 404 brake horsepower, taking them to 60 in 4.8 seconds, which is a serious amount of performance with a relatively exotic badge for under 10k. That engine is the Ferrari F160 block that was designed by Maserati and put together by Ferrari to Ferrari's very high standards and specifications, though it's never actually been used in a Ferrari, and shouldn't be confused with the equivalent V6 you'll find in cars like the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio either. Interesting that Ferrari have made so many V6 engines in the last 10 years for other brands, and now they're making their own V6 supercars and hypercars. I suppose the Alfa and Maserati examples were a nice test bed for Ferrari to develop the ideal V6. Anyway, the S is known to be a little firmer than its purpose would suggest. It's an executive saloon that was always meant to be more luxurious than it is fast, even in high performance S spec, but in reality a lot of owners complained about the car feeling more like a sports car around town and not providing the luxurious, comfortable drive it was supposed to provide. Great out on some twisty roads, but maybe not for travelling to the office or station. That said, they still do look nice on the interiors with nice premium materials, and the exteriors are quite punchy too. It's built on the same platform as the Levante and Quattroporte, and is basically the cheap entry point into the Maserati brand. A true volume car, hence they depreciated so much in such a short space of time, even for Maserati. They start at around 8.5 grand, and 10k will get a 2015 example that start at around 50,000 miles. Owners sometimes complain about build quality on these, as well as the automatic gearboxes and clutches, which can succumb to problems early on in their lives. Taking the top spot is the Audi S5, specifically of course with the V6 engine rather than the V8, as it did get both. The V6 with a 3-litre supercharged V6 to be exact, which makes 328 brake horsepower, taking it to 60 in 4.7 seconds, making it the quickest car on the list despite not being the most powerful, thanks to it having that quattro all-wheel drive. It came in coupe, convertible and 4-door coupe, and it was the latter two that originally got the V6 engine. That's a little bit annoying, as the coupe received a bunch of hype for its looks, while the convertible and 4-door were a little bit less pretty. With the roof down on the convertible though, with the sound of that V6, it's still a very ideal experience. And if you can find one, the coupe also got a V6 after 2012 with the facelift, in order to do better on fuel economy and road tax. Regardless, the car is a step down from the RS5, and essentially built to challenge cars at 335i or C43, though probably even less shouty than those cars, as outside of the S badge there's not too much to denote this car being something more special out on the roads. The facelift updated that front end in particular with new headlights and a modified grille, and the rear also got a new diffuser and some updated LED tail lights. There were also some nice quality of life changes too, like the super premium, super minimalist Audi interior, with a bit of additional sporty flair brought on by the S badge, plus it got Google Maps integrated into the car, all in quite a sensible but nice offering. These start at around £6,000 now, and 10k will get you a post facelift convertible from 2013 with around 60,000 miles on the clock, not bad at all. The main problems owners have noted on forums are with thermostats, engine oil consumption, water pumps and coil packs, some of which are typical VW Group, others are a little bit more difficult to work with. If you enjoyed this video, you should check out my review of another lovely V6 by clicking on screen. Thanks to patrons for their support, and you as well for watching. I'll see you in the next one.